Gutterball.
Welcome everyone to frame 30 of Gutterball. We got our co-host Paul down there, and we got our fantastic guest Jake joining us. Real quick before we go into our weeks and who's Jake is, what he's about. Thank you for the support, especially on Facebook. The shorts are going crazy on there. I think we got one over 102,000 views already, which is fucking awesome. So, can't ask for much more than that. Real quick, still throwing out the smaller frames. You can just so you little clips of Gutterball, get a little sprinkle for your daily dose of Gutterball. Anything else, Paul? New pressing?
No, I mean, yeah, really thank you for the support. Who would have thought Facebook of all places we would have gotten a lot of traffic?
Crazy.
YouTube still doing good, Instagram great. People on Twitter pick it up.
Yeah.
But
Come on.
Twitter's also an extremely hard platform to grow on. But
Yeah.
no, it's been great. We're making big moves. Hopefully, once we get up around 500 subs, we'll have some merch to give you guys, and we'll start sending that out. But yeah, not much. How's your week been, Jack?
Pretty good. Still kind of searching for a new job, trying to figure out my foot in life, but mostly it all comes down to giving you guys new content. So, it's been good though. It's been pretty good.
Heck yeah. How about you, Jake? How's your week been?
Pretty good. This has been my week off from work, so I've just been relaxing at home for the most part.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Been nice.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, Jake, everybody here, why don't you tell us like what you're about and like what you do and just kind of like a general rundown.
Sure. So, well, I guess I can start with why I'm on this particular show.
Yeah.
So, I met Paul like 8 years ago. I was living in Minnesota at the time, and we worked at the same Ace Hardware.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I was really transient at that time, and so we had met and have kind of stayed in touch on and off over the years, and he invited me to come on, and very happy to do so.
Hell yeah, man.
So I currently I work in oil fields doing wireline, perforating for hydraulic fracking. And yeah, that and a bunch of other stuff,
Hell
you
yeah, dude.
know.
Thanks for coming here. Yeah, so like your fracking job, do you want to like give a little rundown of like maybe what you do in particular, or maybe any stories you got from there so far?
Yeah, so I guess I can start from the beginning with that. Um so before I was doing that, I was doing gutter installation, residential gutter installation, and that was just kind of a little bit of a bullshit job, but I took jobs like that just to kind of gain experience, job skills where I could on and off, and I've been doing that for probably the last 10 years. And Ace Hardware was maybe a little detour
Yeah.
on that, but so I wasn't I had been away from that job for a little while. I was actually out of the country and couldn't come back to the job. And so I was like, well, shit, I need to do something. And I saw a classified for a oil and gas hiring fair in Pittsburgh. And I was like, I think I'm going to go to that because that's where the money is. And everyone, because I live in North Carolina, everyone at home was like, you're crazy. Why are you going to drive 6.5 hours to Pittsburgh? I was like, well, look, I can be stuck in that, $23 an hour ghetto back here,
Mhm.
or you can take like a real chance for something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So I drove out to Pittsburgh, and they had this, these company kiosks at a convention center, and the first one I ended up going to, as these things tend to happen, worked out pretty well. And I heard later they were like, well, their hiring process is they hold a mirror up to your face, and if it fogs up, you're hired. It's,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
they're so desperate for people, especially younger people,
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
because a lot, there are 20 somethings who work there, but there's a lot of 50, even 60 somethings still doing this.
Damn.
A lot.
That's got to be hard on
I,
your
oh
body.
Yeah.
yeah, I work with a guy who's 63,
Holy shit.
and is still out there hauling shit around. Um, so it's like that really shows. It's just like once the boomers or the older Gen Xers really age out of this, they're fucked.
Yeah, yeah.
As far as staying staffed, at least with people who are competent.
Same with the nurses.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, it's just because they say that there's a hiring crisis with younger people for like trade jobs, and to make a little bit of a detour real quick, I think a big part of that, I don't want to get into in-depth the conversation on this, is
No
just
worries.
that it's so heavily vilified because of the push for college education. It's just like, oh, that's the only way you're going to make money is with
Yeah.
college. You have to get a
Mhm.
bachelor's degree or a master's degree or whatever. So you have all these kids with degrees, even in something which isn't really relevant for any real kind of work, and then
Exactly.
they're saddled with debt, and they're still too scared to maybe even consider something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So I
100%
can
agree.
say for any 20 somethings who might hear this, I can say it's just like the money and the opportunity really is there.
Yeah.
It is
Mhm.
there. You just have to be willing to make that kind of commitment.
Yeah, 100%. And it is hard
Yeah.
work, and it's like you don't even like even in some like say you get like a college degree and you got like an office desk job, you're still going to deal with those stresses in one way or another. You might not be putting a toll on
Mhm.
your body, but it's like you're still going to encounter shit people to work with sometimes, or like an object or like some type of problem you need to overcome, right? It's just like it's the same anywhere, right? But with your
This is
job, like you're just getting a little dirty, it's
this is great for me because I'm 20. I'm soaking this up. I need to know this. Keep telling this shit
yeah.
because no one else is telling me this type of shit.
Mhm.
You know.
Well, it's like you can move because it's like I'm going to be turning 31 in a few months, and it's even at that age, it's like I'm starting to wake up and it's like shit, my knees are a little bit sore.
Yeah.
But even within that particular industry, it's like I mean, you start at the bottom, so you start with the most kind of physically strenuous work naturally, but you can get a crane license, you can be a crane operator. That's not going to take the same kind of toll on your body, or you can work up to being a supervisor, and they just work in a truck all day. They don't really have to do any heavy lifting.
Yeah.
So it's like you can move out of what does take a toll on your body, and even then, I can say I did a residential window cleaning for like 5 years, and so I was going up and down ladders all day, and that's what really fucked up my knees.
Yeah.
Probably was that and as good of as an experience as that was, and you can make decent money doing something like that. Like you can make okay money doing something like that, but it's not worth doing for more than a couple of years, I would say, unless you're thinking about starting your own company,
Yeah. 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 100%.
with it. But
Um. So, tell us about your time in Minnesota.
yeah, so I grew up in North Carolina, but I was born in Minnesota, and I spent my early childhood in the Minneapolis area. And but I was 8 years old when we left. So I have memories of that time, but that's my early childhood.
Yeah.
So when I was 21, I had spent a year living with my parents, and I saved up a decent stack of money and decided that I was just gonna kind of go out on my own and just kind of figure life out on my own. I look back at this time and I grimace a little bit because I was really starry eyed and naive about a lot of things. But initially, I moved to Maine, where I lived for a while. I lived in central Maine, real Maine. And after about a year, had gotten a little disillusioned with that. So then I was like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna go back to Minnesota. I had always kind of intended on that,
Yeah.
but I didn't want to go back to the Twin Cities, because you have, the results of decades of disastrous, political policy wreaking havoc you know, on the city itself. So I was like, well, I'm going
100%.
to go to Duluth, and which I had not been to. So I remember I just dropped into Duluth driving, a Ford Taurus with all my stuff in
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that Taurus.
it. um, so I arrived in Duluth and pretty much instantly was living in a homeless shelter, there for a while. Um, which I have to give a lot of credit to these people. Um, for kind of, helping me and a lot of other people, get on our feet.
100%.
as best we could. And so I'd gotten a job pretty quickly within arriving. I got a job at Menards,
Hell
which
yeah.
for people who are not from the Midwest is it's like Lowe's or
Yeah.
like Home
Mhm.
Depot, basically. And so I worked there for a few months and got fired. Um, for because it's corporate bullshit where it's just like if
Yeah.
you're like 5 minutes late, they're like, oh, you racked up 2 points, you know.
Yeah.
And the fact was my car broke down once, so I ended up walking to work. It took me like 2 hours. I was like,
Yeah.
motherfucker, I walked all the way here. Does that not show some kind of level of commitment,
Mhm.
to this job? And I had called them beforehand, even then, but they're like, oh, you racked up too many points, so whatever, cut my losses, just said fuck it and left Menards. And
Yeah.
there was an Ace Hardware that was actually closer to the apartment I was living in. I applied there, and I hired pretty much straight away. And the experience at Ace was a lot better,
Oh yeah.
and and Paul, you started, I think, about a month or so after I had gotten there,
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
month or two after I had gotten
And
there.
I was literally like 16 or 17. I was super
Yeah, that's
fucking
right.
young.
Yeah, I was 23 at the time, I think. Yeah.
I'm 24 now, so
Oh, okay.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I was like 23. Yeah. And so yeah, at the time, basically, I was just making, my shit money at Ace Hardware, just trying to enjoy the experience and basically just living paycheck to paycheck in like a basement apartment. But to me, I mean that was a high degree of independence,
Oh yeah, 100%.
even then. So it was kind of nice. It's like, yeah, I slept on a little couch that came with the apartment, and I even had, because I had my homeless buddies from the house that I stayed at. Some of them would cycle through, stay at my apartment for a night or two, so I had to throw them out. But so
Giving a guy a roof over his head, commendable.
yeah, well, I knew this one guy. I can't remember his name. I actually met him at a bar. It was the Reef Lounge,
Oh
just down the
yeah.
street from Ace, if you remember the Reef Lounge.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
picked Sam up. He was trash there one time. I had to come pick him up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I liked the Reef Lounge. They had the Revenge from Mars pinball machine
Oh hell
there, and
yeah.
that was a big deal for me.
Oh yeah.
I used to get a pitcher and get $5 worth of quarters,
Nice.
and yeah. But yeah, so I remember I met this guy who was staying at the shelter that I had stayed at the Reef, and that's a big no-no for staying at the shelter, is going to a bar. They'll throw you out for
Yeah.
something like that. But he had a dog with him. I can't remember what breed it was, but it was a big dog. And we got to talking, and I was just like, "Well, you can stay at my place tonight. You just sleep on the mat on the floor or whatever." And I was just like, "That dog is not getting on my couch though."
Yeah.
Like, period. And so we get in, the first thing, the dog just gets right on the couch. We just hung out for a couple hours, watched movies, talked, and just he passed out on the floor. Those were my friends, at the
Yeah.
time. That was my friend circle. And these were a lot of good guys, though. A lot of good guys. I was just, for someone who grew up like in a very normal childhood, like in North Carolina, it's just I was so hungry for just like craziness like that.
Yeah, yeah. Like
And
you packed up and you left, man. You went and did your
yeah,
own shit.
Yeah.
and I still am. It's just like, it's like I could have just gotten, a bullshit job here, but just like a chance to work on oil fields. It's like, let's do it, man.
Hell yeah.
You know, it's like, let's do it. So
So what made you leave Minnesota, and where'd you go? Did you just go back to North Carolina from there?
yeah, so I went back to North Carolina. I basically, after a few years, kind of had to concede somewhat, and sort of say like, okay, I'm going to take some time to just be a little more normal and practical,
Yeah.
and just sort of let life take its course for a while, but in a way that isn't as needlessly difficult. And so I was living out in Western North Carolina near Asheville. I was there for like 4.5 years. Um I even lived in Asheville itself for a little while, for about a year.
Gotcha.
Um, a now ex-girlfriend and I shared an apartment, and I was mostly doing the window cleaning there. I had sort of fallen into that.
I remember you were doing Windows stuff for a while.
Exactly. Yeah, I did that for a long time, and it worked out pretty well. You know, I had gotten a Ford Ranger and was
Oh yeah.
working out of the Ford Ranger. I had a ladder rack and ladders on it, so I was basically a contractor.
Yeah.
You know, I never had to go to the office. I just, you know, kind of work in my own time, and that was really nice.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man.
Um, so yeah, I was in, and I still am, you know, presently in North Carolina, just kind of, you know, there were good times and hard times, you know, as is the course of life, but it's all kind of coalesced more in the last year and a half. It seems like, you know, it sort of felt like, you know, I got engaged to a really good, really wonderful woman.
Congrats,
Um,
man.
thank you, thank you. And you know, I've got this job now, which, well, I don't want to do it forever. You know, is you know, allowing me to save a lot of money. So that's really working out. But you know, it's I can at least say I was fortunate in that I always had some options. I was never stuck like some people are. So you know,
Mhm.
I can't pretend that I was ever like just stuck
Yeah.
somewhere. But yeah, no. So, but as far as what Jack was saying, as far as like, you know, looking for, you know, jobs or ways to make money, I'm just like, you know, as far as like, you know, trade jobs or just, you know, accruing job skills, I mean, that is out there. It is there.
Hmm.
It's like a lot of people, they just go into like doing kitchen work. I'm just like, why kitchen work? You don't learn anything. You know, it's terrible pay. It's just unless you want to be a chef, you're just kind of spinning your wheels, or unless you're a waiter at a really nice restaurant.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You know, but yeah, as far as doing something like even something like gutter installation, you can make some money doing that, you know, or just getting into construction. I wouldn't really recommend getting into you know, working as a mechanic, an auto mechanic, because the pay is not very good.
It's
I have a
horrible.
close friend
Hmm.
who does that. It sucks, you know. So
If you're into cars, make it more of a hobby. Don't make it a career unless you plan on owning your own business, right? Like that's like
oh
the
yeah,
only way to make money in it. Plus, up here, dude, you ain't working on non-rusty vehicles. You know what I'm saying? You're working on fucking
oh yeah,
some rusty
oh
ass
yeah,
shit. You know, some shit that's gonna piss you off. Um,
oh yeah. How's
so
the weather in Minneapolis right now?
oh god, it's well actually, dude, it's freaking weird.
It's
So like it's warming up and like in
hmm
December it was like freezing like negative temperatures, which is like what you typically get, you know, in like January, February, especially in Duluth.
Yeah.
But like it's the next 2 weeks are supposed to be like 30 or 40.
It's
yeah.
been that way here too. In Pennsylvania, where I'm working, northwestern Pennsylvania, it's been the last time I was out there for I don't know if I said I worked 2 weeks on, 1 week off. For my first day, it was in single digits. And then within like 3 days, it had climbed up to like 40.
Yeah.
You know, and then it was staying in like the 30s for the rest of the week, and then it was getting cold again. And I just looked at the forecast when I go back up there, it's gonna be like almost 50 on
Yeah,
Monday.
that's crazy.
Great.
You
Yeah,
know,
I can go
just really
outside in
really
Duluth.
bizarre.
Like the other day, I got to go outside and box in my garage because it was like 35 degrees out. It's like this has never happened before. It's
Yeah,
so weird. I
But
like it
then
yeah,
though.
like we've also gotten snow in fucking
Yeah.
July up there once.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
think we got like I think we got the record of snow in December for Minnesota for like Duluth or something, but it doesn't feel like it. It's so weird.
yeah, it
Yeah.
is weird. Tell us about your time in Maine. I know you had a buddy Joel there, rest in peace.
Yeah.
What were you
Yeah.
doing in Maine?
So the only way I can describe the Joel thing is to really start from the very beginning with that, and try
Go
to
for
kind
it.
of give you like the Cliff Notes version of it.
Yeah.
So I lived in a town called Farmington, which was like a college town. There's a small university there, but it didn't dominate the town. There was definitely like the town of Farmington and then the University of Maine Farmington. So that they could kind of they could kind of coexist peacefully.
Hmm.
And so there was a building just at the entrance of downtown Farmington. It was like this derelict building, and there was a big billboard on the side of it. And the messages on the billboard kept changing. There were interchangeable letters, so it was like, okay, it's clear that somebody is doing that. There's somebody putting messages on this billboard
Yeah.
on next to this like derelict looking building. And so eventually there was a message that said, I need an assistant or something, and I'm willing to pay. Here's a phone number.
Okay.
And I was like, well, as I do, I was just like, you never turn down an interesting opportunity.
Yeah.
I was 22, so I dialed the number, and this guy answers, this kind of older sounding guy, and he's just like, yeah, well, sounds really cool. It's just like, why don't you come on over? I was just like, you live in that building? He was just like, yeah. Now it sounds like, okay, you're just walking into like, it's like, okay, you're gonna get raped or murdered or something kind of situation. but
Yeah.
but but I was like, yeah, okay. So I go over to this building. This is where it sounds really, really creepy, but it wasn't. So it's just like I walk in there and there's a basement. There's like a voice calling from the basement, just like, I'm down here. So,
It sounds bad. It really does.
so, so I go down there and there's this whole like setup where there's like a computer console with all this recording equipment and like a bedroom and everything. And there's, oh man, it's like it was innocent. It was always innocent, but like I'm just gonna say it the way it was. So there was a guy, this older guy, he's in his 60s, really tall, disheveled beard, kind of crazy disheveled hair. He looks like that Nick Nolte mugshot a little bit. And so and he's there wear, wearing a nothing but just a t-shirt, slippers, and a diaper. I'm not making that up.
I, I know.
And
Yeah.
he's smoking a hand-rolled cigarette, on his computer. And I was like, well, even if he wanted to fuck with me, like he really couldn't, because
Yeah.
like he could barely even move.
Yeah.
So his name was Joel Batzel. Although he went by the alias Joel Bridges often because he ran a this is before Discord or anything, but there was he had like an online radio show called Thought Bridge, and that was his whole enterprise. It was this thing called Thought Bridge, and his
Yeah.
building was next to a bridge, and that played a part in the name, I guess. But so just kind of give you a rundown of who Joel was and what that building was. So Joel was this guy from New York, from Schenectady originally, who had moved to Maine in like the 70s when he was young, when he was in his 20s. And apparently, according to people who knew him back then, it was a pretty put together guy. He was an eccentric guy, but a put together guy. He had a wife and he had a kid. Um, and that building was I think originally it was like a sled factory, and then it was an
Oh
auto
yeah.
garage for a while, and then he bought it and turned it into his residence. And the building was actually really amazing. It was there were like ladders to get to different floors. There was a secret room where you could push the wall, and there was a little secret room, and it was really cool. It was really, really cool. It was just kind of falling apart.
Yeah.
And it was a massive fire hazard because the all the wiring was just extension cords running through the walls. So the town of Farmington was desperate to shut it down and get rid of it. And but Joel he was an artist. He was a painter. He was an excellent painter, and was a really, really intelligent guy. a super intelligent guy, and we had a lot of really in-depth conversations about things. And he's actually a really nice guy. And I mentioned the diaper earlier. It's just like that was because of his own failing health. But I
Yeah.
think he enjoyed provoking the town so much that he would just, when he was able to do so, would just kind of go out in front of the house in the diaper and just wave his cane at traffic, and just because he liked to provoke people like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And
The traffic cone incident or whatever, right? Wasn't there like a
yeah,
traffic cone incident?
oh yeah. But he was a really really smart guy,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we became like friends basically. And just a quick detour on that. So that it was not just us. There was sort of a little enclave of other eccentrics that would kind of come and go.
Okay.
The most notable was this individual named Daniel, who
Oh
would
yeah,
who would
Daniel. Forgot
who
about
would
this.
call into the show a lot. And so I had spoken with like Daniel over the internet, over the phone, and eventually Joel said, "Hey, Daniel's coming over here to move in. He's in a mental hospital. Can you go pick him up?" I was like, "Yeah, I had not met Daniel in person." So I go there and I pick him up, and he was just like, "Yeah, I wasn't there by choice. I got arrested and the police put me there." I was like, "Well, why? What happened?" And oh man, Jesus. So Daniel, apparently this elderly like Christian couple that really walked the walk let them stay at his place. And he was at their house, and he said he was in his room reading a Stephen King book. And then suddenly, yeah, very appropriate Maine. And he said suddenly police officers with assault rifles kicked his door down and arrested him. And I was like, well, why? He was like, I don't know. I guess for reading the Stephen King book. And then I found out later, and these calls used to be on YouTube. I think they might have gotten taken down, but he would he would call like the FBI and the CIA's offices and like threaten to assassinate politicians, like just as a pastime. And I've heard the calls, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, I think you showed me one on YouTube one
Yeah. So yeah, it's like and the thing about Daniel is he was actually really smart too. He would self-publish his ebooks on Amazon, and they were like books of poetry, and you'd just be like, oh, it's just gonna be nuts. But then you'd like really look at it, and it was like really complex and intricate, and actually really nice. So I'm just like, yeah, this dude is legit. It's like he really was very talented. And yeah, so Daniel was staying there until Joel kicked him out because Daniel can be
Yeah, to
a
handle.
lot to deal with. It's like I remember because Joel was sick, his health was failing, and he'd be trying to sleep, and Daniel would just be going off on a tangent. I remember him just ranting once. He was like, "Yeah, my real name is H. David Zark. Daniel Groover is the name the government gave me as part of the Putin paradox." And then Joel would just get out of bed and he'd be like, "Get out."
Just wasn't
Just be like,
having it.
yeah, he'd just be like, "Get out." And so for kind of I guess kind of the sad outcome of the story is that I was there when Joel was still living in that building, and I had ended up moving to Minnesota, but then I had gone back to Maine for a little while, so I was actually in Minnesota basically in two intervals,
Mhm.
and and was in Maine for two different intervals. And when I was back in Minnesota, I was staying in touch with Joel, but wasn't there to kind of help him out and things. And he ended up having to go live in an assisted living facility because he just couldn't walk anymore. He just couldn't get
Yeah.
around anymore. And I went back to Maine and would spend time with him at the facility he was at. And he passed away probably about 6 7 months after being admitted there. He had a really bad infection on his leg.
Yeah.
And so Joel passed away. It was the end of 2015 or early 2016, something like that.
Yeah.
He was I think he was 66. But I I think I might have been the last person to speak with him on the phone because he couldn't talk, but the nurse held the phone up to him, and yeah, it was sad.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. That
But
shit's rough.
I yeah, but I have a lot of footage of Joel interviews with him that I recorded and everything, and eventually I'd like to put that out in some capacity. I've been holding on to it for a long time now,
Hell yeah, man.
and I have some footage of Daniel as well.
Oh God.
So I've been holding on to it for all too long. But but yeah, so that was, I would say, the big takeaway from my time in Maine. I also worked at the Sugarloaf Ski Resort for a little while as a snowmaker. And I can say that actually probably was a good prep for working in the oil fields,
Yeah.
just because of dealing with the weather all day. If
Oh yeah.
just being out in kind of harsh weather,
Mm-hmm.
it kind of is like a good prepper for that sort of thing. And that was kind of cool. Was doing snowmaking. So
Did you like the ski resort?
yeah, it's a really nice resort. I mean, I've never skied or snowboarded,
I snowboarded a
but
couple times. It sucks. It's not for me.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but I was on the slopes all the time. It's like we take the chairlifts up and then we just kind of work our way down, go back up, work our way down. It's kind of hard to explain, what the job was. You're basically just operating these snow cannons, like
Yeah.
these lances that shoot out fake snow. So, but it was kind of cool.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting, huh?
Jack, you got anything?
No, I don't got nothing. That's just like, so you just ended up working for Joel when you came down and answered that ad?
Yeah, well, it's like he wasn't paying me anything, and
Okay.
it's like I never asked for any money. It's just like we kind of became friendly. We sort of just became like friends,
Yeah.
Okay.
and so I was basically like running some errands for him, and just kind of helping out with some shit just around his house more or less,
Interesting.
or was just spending time with him, you know, because he would have like caseworkers come over. But aside from that, and like Daniel and a couple other people, there wasn't really anybody there. So it's like it was just nice just to for him at least to have somebody there at
Yeah.
all. So and he would provoke his caseworkers a lot. It's like he had a court mandated therapist that would come over, and she'd be like, "How are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm doing all right. I just shit my diaper." So yeah. Yeah.
So not to get too off topic here, but whatever happened to your Ford Taurus?
That car just conked out. It was an old car. I had that car until like 2017. Yeah, it was like 2017 that I had that car. It was the transmission was fucked on it, so
Yeah.
it just ended up going out. But I had a Ford Ranger for a long time. I don't have that vehicle anymore. I was in an accident
Oh no.
about 2.5 years ago, and so now I have a Chevy Malibu,
Hell yeah.
which is the nicest car that I've ever had. But it's like I get some shit about it, at work because a lot of the guys that they drive like the F-150s or whatever.
Yeah, big
I'm just
trucks.
like, I bet you got an Obama sticker on your car. I'm gonna go rip it off.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna. You drive a Chevy Malibu? Do you like Chevy Malibu? No, you don't.
um no, actually, Jake, after you left Ace Hardware, I was looking for my first car. I turned 16. I got my license, or I think I got my license when I was 17. Actually, I was a year late on it, but I ended up getting a 2003 Ford Taurus, but
Yeah.
it was a wagon, and it was an ugly motherfucker. It was like
Oh yeah.
brown. It was like a brown
Yeah.
Ford Taurus wagon, so it's like a
Mhm.
fucking almond. And I wanted to tell this story, so this is a good segue. So see, it was like after my senior year of high school, so like the summer of graduation and into that next year, I was just working kind of like dead end jobs still. I didn't go to college yet, right out of high school. And I would go to my buddy's house. He lived on the top of Vermilion Road up near Woodland. And Vermilion, where he lived, it was like his house was on the corner here, and like the road went up and it was like a hill, right? And then it went down. So like it was basically like on the top of this peak. And, you know, that car had bald ass summer tires. It was like the middle of winter. It was like a massive snowstorm, and we would go over there and just get fucking plastered at his mom's house because his mom like divorced his dad and like married a doctor, and then like just
Yeah.
basically like let him have free range over that house. And like that's a horrible, irresponsible idea to have like a bunch of high schoolers fucking do whatever they want there. So we'd go over there and
Yeah.
get drunk as shit all the time, and it was during the winter, and I wasn't under the influence of anything. We'd go over there, get hammered, and I'd crash there. And it was on the top of this hill. It was like a 3 feet of snow, and like I knew that I wouldn't be able to get up that hill with front wheel drive and bald ass tires. So my dumbass is like, I know what I can do. I can hit the hill going like 60. And I'll like 7 as fast as I can, and I can get up on the hill and hopefully stop in time to like, you know, park on the side of the road and get out. No, dude, I overshoot the fucking hill, and like my buddy remembers he was like on the porch smoking a cigarette, and he just sees this Taurus wagon. I fly like up over, I get fucking air up over the other side of the road, dude. And there are like cars parked on the road, and I end up like ping ponging down, like hitting snowbanks, like just spinning out of control, and I just slam into the snowbank on the other side, the bottom of the hill, and car was fine. I was completely fine. Just a massive fucking dent in the door. I didn't hit anybody's car, but I fucked that
Jeez.
car up so bad. Like the entire trim piece fucking came off, and like
Yeah.
it was just such a bad idea, dude. I shouldn't have hit that hill going like 70 with ball ass tires. Because like, what was I thinking? Like, I'm gonna be able to stop once I hit the top.
Hmm.
But anyways,
Yeah, I had like I almost died on Vermilion Road too. Vermilion Road in general is just dangerous. Should not be going on there. Again, driving bald ass tires, you know, in winter that I should not be driving. So Vermilion Road, like there was like a really sharp, you know, that sharp right, Paul, you can take onto it. Like kind of,
yeah,
you know where
yeah,
that there's like a mansion, there's like a whole mansion, and along that street, there's a
yeah,
really sharp turn. Like you're coming forward, the turn's like right here, so
yeah.
you
That was
have
the
to
way up
whip
there. Yeah,
really hard.
yeah.
And I take that going like at least 35 on the way to school one morning. It was just snowing like a motherfucker that day. And I ended up jackknifing into the other lane, and I nearly hit a car. And then I bounced back into the other lane, come back again, and nearly hit another car. So I was ping ponging across the lanes. End up like fucking spinning out at the bottom of the hill. I got stuck, and then I'm like, my sister's in the car. She was like freaking out. Like I think she was almost crying because she thought we were gonna fucking die. And I remember that day, my parents were like, "Why did you go to school?" Because I'm like, too dangerous to drive. I turned around and drove home. I'm like, fuck that shit. But yeah, Vermilion Road is a dangerous fucking. No one should drive on that, especially with bald ass snow tires, man. Like no snow tires.
What happened
Oh
in
yeah,
the?
we've got a
Oh, go ahead.
sorry, we've got a bad road here called Waldenbrook. So there's a lot of start and stop traffic, and I got T-boned
Ooh,
on it, and it took out my Ford Ranger.
I was literally just about to ask what happened to the Ranger.
yeah.
Damn, got T-boned, huh? Yeah, dude.
Yep.
Every accident I've been in, I've been defensive driving, or it just straight up wasn't my fault. Like, dude, I've been rear-ended like 4 times. And I'm talking like bad. Like, I got rear-ended in that Ford Taurus, and they just like shattered the back window of the wagon. I was on Woodland Avenue, and it's just because like it was snowy out. The people in front of me slammed on their brakes, so I did, and I was far enough away I didn't hit them. But then somebody slammed right into the back of me.
Yeah.
That's how it goes,
Never
especially
been in an accident yet, thankfully.
Yeah.
Reported.
I've been
reported
I've been
accident.
I've been lucky lately. So I've been
What year's your
yeah.
Malibu?
It's 2018.
Oh, damn. So yeah, yeah, those are nice.
So it's pretty new, yeah.
Is it Snow White, or what color did you get? Sorry, did I cut out?
Oh, I think it's Mike.
Oh, your mic might have cut out, Jake. Go ahead and just like
Oh,
toggle it. Oh
sorry.
wait, there we go. You're
There
good.
you
You're good.
Yeah, no, it's 2018. It's black.
Oh hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice, efficient car. I mean, it's like I'd like to have a truck again. It would be nice, but used cars are so expensive now, and
Oh,
especially
it's
used
so
trucks.
bad. Yeah,
Mm.
You know, because everybody wants one. And it's like I always get pissed off when I see like some like office worker who's got like the lifted F-250. It's like you don't need that.
yeah, yeah,
It's just like I was like at least my Ford Ranger was being used. It's like
yeah,
I
yeah.
used it for work, so
And you also drive 6 hours, and the truck would suck ass.
Yeah, yeah.
Need something a little more fuel efficient.
Oh yeah, no, it's nice. It's nice for the commute, definitely.
So what
It's
make?
like,
Oh, go ahead, Jack.
oh, that I'm just saying, like, not using your truck. That's like my sister who has a 2015
Oh my
truck
god,
with
yeah.
snow tires, but has her dad drive her to work when it's snowing. And I'm like, Mary, I'm
Yeah,
driving with bald tires, like going like a maniac. I will drive your car. Let me have your fucking truck.
Jack's driving a
yeah.
Buick Century with bald ass
That's
tires.
that. No lights. The lights are like dimmer than God, dude. You can't see anything. If you put that in a dark room, you might not even see the lights on. I swear to God, they're that fucking
Yeah.
bad. So at night when I drive home, man, it's just a fucking gamble. Don't drive. Bottom line is get off the road if I'm driving at night because I'm not seeing you.
Yeah. No, I hate when people have their brights on behind me. It's like you
Oh,
don't need to see up a June bug's asshole from a mile away.
Yeah.
It's like you don't
right.
need
I
to have
hate
those
that.
on. So
So you put on Facebook at some point, muscle cars are basically Funko Pops for boomers.
yeah.
That made me laugh pretty hard. What made you fucking say that? Is that from something? Did you just come up with that?
I don't know. I mean, it's just like it's basically just because I guess like the Funko Pop thing, at least for like younger people or whatever. It's just like that real. I guess just the most egregious manifestation of just like completely empty consumerism.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Of just like having shit for the sake of having it and something
Right.
being useless. Now a muscle car is at least there's more utility in something like that, but it's just like and one thing that's so disgusting about a lot of boomers is just they're just like because when I did window cleaning, I would go to because it's expensive to get your windows cleaned professionally, and so a lot of my clients were really wealthy older people,
yeah.
and a lot of them just like to show off how much shit they have, and I would just think internally, I'm just like, what makes you think that I care about this? It's like I'm
Hmm.
doing this job just to afford a 1 bedroom apartment. You're just showing me all your horse shit.
Yeah,
It's like I don't fucking care. And it's like it would be like cars or boats, and it's like, yeah, congratulations, asshole, you have a boat. It's like,
yeah.
I can barely afford my rent, and I'm
Yeah.
Yeah.
here washing fucking windows. So it's like, yeah. So it's like that same attitude of like having just a bunch of shit that's never used,
Right. Just
you
gonna sit
know.
there.
So
And if anything, Funko Pops aren't even cool. We did have a guest that was on here that liked Funko Pop. Sorry, Mikey. But Funko Pops, I don't like the big heads and they don't have any detail. And I get into this with my coworker who collects them. And I'm like, they're not even detailed. They look like shit, dude. Stop collecting them. Like, get rid of them. It's
well,
to each their own.
it seems like that sort of thing where it's just like because they are really like aesthetically unappealing, where it's just like
Mhm.
there's like a manufactured consensus around that where it's like suddenly it seems like they kind of came out of nowhere where it's like suddenly it's like this is popular. It's like
Yeah.
Beanie
Mhm.
Babies.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just
What
like
the fuck?
this is
When did that
popular and
happen?
everybody should get them. And it just happens with stuff like that. Every I I don't want to give a figure like every 10 years or something, but it's just like there's always like that thing that it seems like it just kind of fell from the sky. And it's just like suddenly, well, not everybody, but like a large niche of people are like into this, and it doesn't feel organic.
Yeah.
Right.
So it doesn't feel like it happened organically. So maybe it did. I don't know. But just the fact that something that's just really not only useless but also just kind of aesthetically unappealing
Hmm.
suddenly had this large marketplace
Large value and
Yeah, I don't get
just
it.
just kind of is suspicious to me. So
I like
um
that suspicious
and yeah,
going on with
boomers are
that.
like that where they they've got all their bullshit that they have to show off, and it's like shit. I can be like that with some things too, but it's just like I at the very least like to say it's just like, well, anything that I have, there's a certain utility in it
Hmm.
generally.
yeah.
Where it's just like there's something beyond just like this is like a product that I've consumed. It's like there's something with some substance or lasting value in some way. Because it's like I collect like I'll collect like physical media generally.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Partially because I don't trust digital media.
Yeah.
Or it's just like they can suddenly alter things, censor things because they don't fit a current narrative or what
Exactly.
have you.
Yeah.
You
Hmm.
know, it's
Which
just
they
like
do.
because when
Yeah.
you have something like a book, or a DVD or whatever, it's like you have that forever.
You do. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's like they can't touch it, and mess with it, or put like some horseshit disclaimer on it, so I can free myself just from this cultural wasteland that it feels like that we're in a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know.
Jackson, I'll let you pick a topic here. I just got to step aside for 1 second.
All right, sounds good. Um, you like series? You like King of the Hill? Paul mentioned that. I love King of the Hill. I grew up on
Yeah.
a lot of that shit. Really good show. Um, have you heard some of the conspiracy theory or like the fan theories around the show? Any of them
Around
at all? King of the Hill?
No, I haven't.
All right, well, there's a couple. I just thought I'd bring them up on the show because this is fun for people. There's a couple of them that I like. One of them is everybody knows that fucking Dale's wife's getting nailed the entire show, you
Yeah.
know. But there's a really good theory that Dale knew about it the whole time and just was like kind of like whatever, didn't care about it. Um, and I was like thinking about that, and I'm like, he probably honestly knew, just didn't care. And someone put it together. They said it really well. They're like, well, he lives with next door to all his high school buddies. His wife pretty much funds all his stupid shit that he does. He gets to fuck around the entire day, and the only downside is his wife is getting cuckold. Like, he probably just ignores it, and it's like, whatever, this is fine. It'll work out.
Well, that was like the joke from the get-go was just
Yeah.
like, oh, his son obviously isn't his,
Yeah.
and there were the moments where it's like, Dale would, I'm kind of drawing from memory, but would have the scene. It's like, oh, Joseph is an alien,
Yeah,
like
right.
Nancy
Say
was
that shit.
impregnated by
Uh-huh.
aliens, you know. But then you see that like Dale does have like a certain power over Nancy. Like I'm drawing from memory, but I think there was one episode where Dale meets this female exterminator who's into him,
Right.
and Nancy's suddenly really jealous. So
Right.
you
Yeah,
see, it's
yeah.
just like, okay, she can't lose that. Well, like he does like still have like exert like a certain allure,
Mhm.
for her, or maybe just a sense of stability. Maybe it's just like, if she lost that, she'd just suddenly be. It's like just have to own up to the shame of like having an illegitimate child.
Right,
So
yeah.
it's
You guys talking about
yeah,
Joseph and like King of the
Yeah,
Hill?
yeah.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah.
How does Dale?
Or
What is Dale? Has Dale ever questioned it?
yeah, he thinks Joseph was an alien and shit. That's how he justified it. But I was saying that there's a fan theory that he knows the whole time and is just fucking making it up just
Really?
because doesn't want to accept it. Yeah.
Well, see, what I liked about the show was the characters all had like a real dimension to them, and they were
Hmm.
all they're all flawed people.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
they're all realistically flawed people, but even in someone like Hank, like there's a real decency to him. Ultimately, it's like he is a fundamentally decent guy. It's
Yeah.
like, even with his flaws or his lack of ability to really
Hmm.
connect with Bobby, you know, or it's like Peggy has a lot of great qualities, but she's also really arrogant,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
Right. Yeah.
and
You Peggy hater? You like Peggy? People either really hate Peggy or they fucking like, there's two extremes. They like her or they don't like her at all.
I don't know. I mean, I appreciate the character, and it's like even if you watch the show from the beginning to kind of as it evolved, it's like that character really did kind of evolve, you
Hmm.
know. And yeah, I don't like or dislike her really any more than any of the other characters in the show. I think it's a really well drawn character, and people say that it's like which was the best like animated show of like the mid late '90s or whatever, and I'm just like, well, there's no contest. I mean, King of the Hill is clearly better than
Yeah.
The Simpsons or
Yeah.
Family Guy or whatever. Family Guy shouldn't even be mentioned, in that
No.
conversation. But it's
Hmm.
just,
Exactly. Yeah.
you know, but yeah, and it's because it really had those characters with like real dimension, and there
Hmm.
was like a sense of real kind of like ethics to that show. It
Yeah.
wasn't just like snide, in a
No.
way that's cheap and easy. So
Yeah, it dealt with,
I
like, really real world problems, and, like, as a kid, like, I never really understood that, like, there's an episode where, like, it's all about them talking about health insurance and, like, why they need health insurance. Like, as a kid, I'm like, "That's not funny, that's not, like," I don't wanna watch it, I wanna watch Simpsons or Family Guy. Then as I grew up, I'm like, "This is what I wanna watch right here because 'cause they're telling it kinda how it is, but also making it
yeah.
really funny and entertaining."
Yeah, no, I think it's a show that a lot of people didn't really appreciate when it was around.
Mhm.
But people really kind of come around to it. I think it's like that then it's just like if you do something exceptionally good and it's at least out in the open, eventually people will come around to
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Exactly.
It just might not be in its own time.
Mhm.
So
Totally makes
Yeah, who
sense.
knows? Maybe 40 years from now, people will be listening to this.
Yeah, right. Finally, people start caring. We're
Yeah.
all
yeah.
fucking dead and decrepit. That's might happen.
Well, yeah. As long as you keep it, I guess like compelling or relevant or
Right.
what have you. It's just like things that are good, have a tendency to like rise to the top. It's just like, even with like, books or, films, where it's just like something that was ignored, for decades or even centuries. There's a novel that I read not that long ago called a Stoner. And it was kind of ignored when it was written, but it's had like a period of reevaluation and is held in very high regard now. So
Huh.
it's like, that sort of thing. It does happen.
What was that book called? Stoner? Is that what you said?
Yeah, stoner. It has nothing to do with what you might be thinking,
Mhm.
but it's but yeah, it's about like and even the description, it sounds a little bit, like maybe common or typical, but about kind of like, you know, dealing with the monotony of life or how
Yeah,
life can be monotonous or, you know, it's but it works really well.
for sure.
Okay, this looks familiar. The only reason because like Jordan Peterson has like a recommended books list. I'm pretty sure he has that on there. It's why it sounds so
Oh,
familiar to
really?
me. Yeah, so I was like, this makes sense.
Yeah.
Pretty.
Jordan Peterson is a really odd character to me because I sort of waver where it's just like, he like is he a grifter or not? Because there are like griftery aspects to him,
Yeah,
Hmm.
I think, but it's just and like the ascent that he had so suddenly is just like, was that a result of young men being so desperate for a voice of like just kind of reason or guidance, or was there like a manufactured aspect to that? Or was it
yeah.
both? Because it seemed like there were a lot of figures who were just like that were really dead set on like taking this guy down, but he was also
Hmm.
given like a pretty big media platform at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, because I think that message of just like it's like, yeah, young men need like a certain like real kind of like, and it's, I hesitate to use this word talking about Jordan Peterson a little bit, but like masculine guidance,
Yeah.
because the dude has cried on camera like, 100 times at this point. But
Hmm.
and it's like there are other questionable things about him, like I think at one point he brought up this like all meat diet thing or whatever, and I was just
Oh
like,
yeah.
that's weird. But you know, but yeah, I don't know. I haven't really listened to his lectures or read any of his books or anything, but
Hmm.
there's an interesting temporary character, that's for sure.
Oh
Yeah, me and
yeah.
Paul actually saw him live. We went to one of his
Yeah.
talks. Yeah, I like Jordan Peterson. Not into his shit as much anymore lately. But I do get what you're saying. We're like kind of like two extremes. But like, really, what made me kind of turn off of him even more was when he swapped over to the Daily Wire, and now he's doing the series on the Daily Wire, and that's a hugely conservative platform. So it's like, Jordan, you're like you're going into exactly what everyone called you, just a right wing bigot, and now you're joining all the right wing fucking fuckheads. So it's like I don't know what you're doing. Kind of hard to follow him.
Yeah. I've always just been indifferent on him. I think he has some really good points and stuff, and there's some stuff people should listen to. But then again, like Jake was saying, like the all meat diet shit, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what's going on here? You know, like, why? Yeah, I think you should
He did that was
get
he's
it.
sick.
I think you should clean your room and meet your wife. You know, like he just fucking like.
Yeah, it's
Well,
true.
it's like because it's true that there really was like or has been like a crisis of just young men without any real kind of like
It is
guidance or
true,
discipline
yeah.
or whatever.
Hmm.
Well, like that's completely real, and just you see all like just the insanity going on in institutions or like educational institutions which have been dead set on losing any sense of legitimacy, and I think
Hmm.
it that's such a broad thing to get into, but you know I don't know. I mean, and even with like the Daily Wire or Ben Shapiro, it's just like it's like as disgusted as I am by the stuff that's kind of pushed in discourse nowadays, which is just so fundamentally against just the fundamental truths of just nature.
Hmm.
It's it's like Shapiro is just a grifter to me. I mean,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
it's just I don't have any time for somebody like that.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
yeah.
So it's for just like just for just those high horse just academic just fuckheads. I just have no patience for people like that.
No, I
You
can't
Actually,
know?
even
I
I can't
think you're
even
a fucking
escape Ben
idiot.
Shapiro. My mom listens to
Yeah.
him daily, dude. So every morning, man, I wake up and I hear a glimpse of his fucking whiny voice, man,
I
and I'm like,
can't
God
stand it.
damn it,
Yeah.
I can't stand it. So yeah, he's unescapable at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's a big rift, and like you're seeing that. It's just like even someone like Sam Hyde, who we talked about earlier. It's just like what, and he's been so elusive about things, where it's like he'll basically just kind of like drop little hints
Yeah,
as to like oh, I might be involved in this, or he'll send
Hmm.
out he'll send out these like dog whistles, for like for like extreme groups,
yeah, yeah.
but like he encourages that, like even what he did on Adult Swim. It's like if you see some of the
Oh yeah.
stuff that they put on Adult Swim, like it's astonishing that was able to get on television.
Yeah,
Oh
it
yeah.
is. It's
Oh
some,
yeah.
It's just,
No, that's bad,
yeah,
dude.
yeah, dude.
I recently showed my coworker some of MDE, and I forgot what he said in some of the fucking ones, especially the bully skit, the one where he
oh yeah,
refers to people. Holy crap! And I'm like, this is on Adult Swim, and no one believes me. I'm like, it was there,
yeah.
man. It aired.
Stay out of my
Insane.
hallway.
Mhm.
He's
Stay out
fucking
of my hallway. He puts the bike, puts the
yeah.
bike on top. Oh, that's the best.
um, have you, Jake? Have you kept up? Have you seen the Three B's of Business? One of his most recent sketches on YouTube.
No,
Go
no.
look up the Three B's of Business when you get off here. There's a
All
part in
right.
it, dude, where he's not being serious, but like it zooms in on him because he's like talking to a woman, like interviewing her for a job, right?
Mhm.
He runs this company. And
Mhm.
it zooms in on him really close. He's like, "Shh, don't tell her, but I think I'm gonna kill her." And I don't know why, but like,
Oh yeah.
it's just shit like that, like off the cuff, like out of nowhere. But then also like MDE, especially, there's a lot of subliminal messaging. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean,
it's very well
well, it's like
crafted.
he'll have those dog whistles, which are like only very specific people are gonna get the reference.
Mhm.
So he's like
Yeah.
dropping this hint where he's like, "Yeah, I'm part of this extremist group, but I might not be because I'm being ironic."
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, so,
What an enigma of a man, dude. I would love to get
yeah,
him on this cast. Be amazing to talk to.
Yeah,
yeah.
he's an elusive man, and he
Well, and he
also
he called out Joe Rogan a while ago.
yeah.
Yeah, did he? I think he paid like over 10 grand in cameos of famous people calling him out. He had like, man, he had such famous people calling him out. Like, hey, Joe, Stan's been looking for you. They want to talk. And it's like Cheech and Chong or something,
Yeah,
dude. It's so
yeah.
good. There's no way Joe hasn't seen at least one of those, man. He had to have.
He's like what's great about Sam is like he's a lot wealthier than he puts on though. Like he's actually like I'm pretty
Mhm.
Yeah.
sure a millionaire, but he wears
Oh,
like
yeah.
fucking like New Balance
Yeah.
shoes and like oversized shirts and like beanies. He's good. And his
And I like
comedy's
how
fucking hilarious.
I like how he talks about like his job. He's like, "Yeah, I don't make any fucking money doing this. Don't do what I do. I'm a fucking loser." And that's all he says. It's so good.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't
no, well,
tell.
I think like of millennial comedians, like he's the only one that at least I've seen that has really like because comedy always has to be like, subversive or like prickly in a legitimate way. And
Yeah.
it's like
Mhm.
the media, they'll put somebody on where they're talking about something that maybe was faux pas 20 years ago, but now it's like this is just mainstream discourse. So it's just
Yeah.
like you think you're being edgy, but it's just this is what's acceptable.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
boring at that point. And Sam Hyde is like one of the only ones that's genuinely like pushing that boundary of like mainstream acceptability, which is why they're
Mhm.
never gonna why well adults from at one point did that test, but he lasted 5 episodes before they ripped him off the air.
Yeah.
Who's actually pushing that boundary of like acceptability in a
Mhm.
way and is doing like new things with comedy at the very least.
And Tim Heidecker from Tim and Eric definitely had something to do with that show getting canceled too.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Well,
100%.
that was too bad because Tim and Eric could actually be really funny.
Yeah, actually, I like that
You
Yeah,
show.
know,
Like
right.
that's a
Exactly.
good. Like
yeah.
their movie's good. The
Well,
show is great.
I think it was you, Paul, that said where like Tim specifically said something about MDE he didn't like, but like way earlier, some of those Tim and Eric sketches are
Yeah,
pretty
dude,
fucking
they're
I
pretty
guess
bad.
misogynistic.
Yeah.
And like he was mad about that, but like what's the one where it's the two fat people and they're in the office? What the
Oh,
fuck's that one
Miss
called? That
Miss
one's bad, dude.
Carol and Mr.
Yeah, Carol,
Henderson.
that's bad, dude. Like, yeah, dude, like that was okay, but what Sam Hyde does isn't. It's like, all
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
whatever.
good enough for a poke, huh? And then he fucking douses her in the coffee and says, "You're a hog."
You're a hawk.
Yeah, no, yeah, Tim and Eric's great, but yeah, no, like they're just super hypocritical in that sense.
Mm,
Like, I mean,
Yeah.
like they're all pretty edgy and were kind of like offensive towards women. I mean, like Sam Hyde, the did you just whip my wife or trip my wife?
yeah,
Like those two, like
Oh
classic.
yeah, yeah,
he
that one.
trips her into the fucking
My wife.
and Nick is just like he's like, you owe me $2,000 a bottle, or some shit.
Yeah.
At the end he shatters the
Oh my
table.
god. He's like, I'm gonna lock you in my basement, and I'm gonna keep you there for weeks, and then I'm gonna give you a phone, and you think you're gonna call out to get help, but every number you dial, it's me. I'm on the other end, and you're not leaving. He's like, oh my god, it's so bad, dude.
um No, I really encourage you, Jake, to check out his streams, especially. Well, actually, there's one that's probably happening right now tonight, but Nick Tuesdays and Thursdays will also stream on Sam's channel, and he does like
Yeah.
house reviews because Nick owns
Mm.
like a lot of rental properties and shit. And I was laughing so hard Tuesday night, dude. Like somebody donated and put in an address. He's like, "Oh yeah, this house is pretty cool." And then he like clicks into the living room, and there's like this like yellow blocky style like gold shiny wall. He's like, "All right, first of all, this fucking wall looks like an Egyptian girl's pussy." And then it just and like, I just started losing. He just starts tearing the house apart. And then he's like, "Oh, your grandpa built it with his bare hands." Like he's just riffing on this kid that donated money. Oh,
Well,
it's
it's
so
like
good.
one of my friends, he was like subscribed to their show or whatever, and he showed me like the Frank Castle videos
Yeah.
that
Oh
they
yeah,
did. If
those were
you've
good.
seen those.
Yeah.
And then there was where he went to Boogie's house,
Oh
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Boogie ended up
that's so
getting
great.
arrested
The
because he
gun.
fired the warning shot. Yeah.
Mhm. Come out, you fat pussy.
Yeah,
It's so good.
Do you see that Boogie literally lost like all of his money because he put it all in crypto and it tanked?
well, it's like because I never I was like so like I would say terminally offline for a long time. Like even when I was in like living in Duluth, I had no internet
Yeah.
basically. I
Mhm.
was I was living completely like disconnected. And so I wasn't there for like any internet drama or YouTube happenings.
Yeah.
Now Boogie was always kind of this like peripheral character.
Yeah.
Whenever you go on YouTube, it's like there's like a morbidly obese guy that's getting a lot of views.
Yeah.
And that's and like and that's what it is. I didn't know what like the backstory to it was, and but then eventually I saw there were like these deep dive documentaries like analyzing his personality, and there was one where it's just like he had gone through a divorce and did this
Mm.
video where like he calls his ex-wife, and it was just painful. It was absolutely painful.
Oh
It's
yeah.
just like let that be a lesson to to all those people out there, it's just like once you go through a breakup, just stay broken up.
Yeah.
You know, just don't contact them.
No.
So
Yeah, that whole boogie thing is disgusting. Yeah, he's pretty much done for. But yeah, that Frank Castle thing, I remember that like happening like as it unfolded, and those are a good period of online where it's just fucking everyone
yeah.
making fun of him.
Yeah, he was e-begging. He's e-begging now
Yeah,
because he's literally like,
so
Oh,
"Please
okay.
donate. I lost like all my money." And it's like, dude, I'm looking
dude,
behind him. I'm like, look at all those fucking collectibles and shit you got
yeah,
from
you
the wall.
start
Start
selling
selling
that
that
shit.
shit. Stop
Yeah,
asking
get this
people for
shit out of
money.
here.
That's
Yeah.
that's the kind of grifting I really can't stand. Is
Hmm.
we're now it's like I understand that it's like some people it's like they make a career out of doing like streaming or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
But even that it's so saturated that sort of thing where
Oh
it's
yeah.
just like look eventually you just have to get a real job and just
Exactly.
earn
Right.
money.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like if you don't have an audience, that's just the way it is.
Hmm.
So
Doesn't work out for
it's
everyone.
no, and it's like I hope it works out for you guys,
Yeah. Yeah.
naturally.
Well,
But it's like even you, Paul, it's like you're working,
right.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like
I'm
so
still work too. Yeah.
yeah,
Gutterball is a side gig. Like
My
like
mindset
yeah,
is like I want to learn like a valuable skill and do this on the side because to monetize anything creative is almost the probability of it is almost fucking zero.
yeah.
So, once you have that mindset, nothing can hurt you because it's like, whatever. I'm still doing it for fun. Still gonna be
well,
putting it out.
it's like stuff like that. You just have to let it be its own reward because it's like I'm an artist too. I'm sure Paul, you
Yeah.
remember the drawings I used to
Yeah.
do at
Yeah.
Ace on the thing. It's like yeah, I still do that, and I've been working on a comic, this long form comic book for like years now.
Hell yeah, man.
Sick.
Just on the side, and it's just like you just have to let that be its own reward.
Yeah.
Hmm.
On its own, of just like just the feeling of just accomplishing something. It's like even if only like my wife and family sees it,
Yeah.
it's like still,
Yeah.
You better show that shit to me when you're done with it.
oh it's at the point now where I'm worried about putting my name on it because I've packed it with so much like dog whistles where I'm just like I could get in so much trouble for this.
Oh, okay.
No one's gonna
So
Might have
publish
to
it or
go
what?
publish under an alias
and
or
Yeah.
some shit.
there isn't that veneer of irony that I can hide behind with that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that so, but yeah, I will I'll send you some pictures of it after this.
Hell yeah, dude. I'm
Um
Sick.
into it.
yeah,
But yeah,
but
I agree though. Everybody out there listening to, even if you're in a very logical degree, job, whatever, you do something very logical, it's always good to have something creative on the side. Even if you're not very creative brained, because you need to work that side of your head. Like that's why I started this podcast, right? I used to do like gaming YouTube videos like way back in the day when I was a high schooler, just because I liked video editing, I liked photoshopping, doing all that fun stuff. And like now, as I got older and got into like a more logical brain job, IT, you're doing logical shit all the time, you're thinking a lot. I was kind of just like driving myself crazy the first couple of years, and then until I was just like, man, I need to do something creative again. And then like I started getting into doing ceramic stuff again, like building sculptures, and kind of got burnt out of that a little bit. I still have projects that are like need to be finished, but then like getting into this, I was like, yes, this is it. Like I look forward to this every week now. Like this is
Hmm.
my thing, doing this, editing it Friday night, making the thumbnail, throwing it up so it's up by Saturday, doing the audio only version of it too. It's all just it's fun to me. And like Jack and I started this with basically no intentions of it going anywhere. We had a third host, and he's no longer with the show, but we now with just the two of us, like we're actually, now that we're consistently posting, like across all these
Hmm.
platforms, we're actually seeing some movement in some areas, right? Because if
yeah,
you don't hit every corner now, just because there's so many platforms,
There's no reason to do it.
there's no reason to do it. And there's even a smaller chance of like maybe getting some recognition, right?
Hmm.
Um, and so, and also we're branching out. It isn't just going to be the podcast. It's a matter of like where Jack and I are living right now, like away from each other, and also just like getting equipment. So like we plan on doing like some sketch comedy. Like I don't know if you've ever heard of
Absolutely.
The Whitest Kids You Know, but kind of like inspired from like that sketch comedy group that existed on TV for a
yeah,
while.
yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. And so we want to get into stuff like that eventually. But again, it's like we'll eventually grow it. It just takes a while. But I really think it's
Yeah.
important everybody does something like creative side, even if you've never really done it before and you're super logically brained, because I feel like you'll drive yourself crazy not really expanding that part of your life. So
I mean, also, sometimes it really depends on personality. People can be wired to an extent or they don't have that creative need or they don't
Yeah.
want it. And that's certain people, man. Some people do have it. I think Jordan Peterson talked a lot about this. That Jordan Peterson is a trait. It's not like some every
Yeah.
person has, you know. Um, but yeah, just kind of find the thing that makes you fucking tick, man. Find that thing, you know, whatever you like.
Because not
Yeah, well,
everybody
it's
likes their
like
jobs.
it's like compartmentalizing your life in a way. It's like for me that's really hard right now, just because I work so much.
Hmm.
Hmm.
You know, with this job, it's like, you know, when I'm out for 2 weeks, I'll do like 100 hours a week easily.
God
You
damn.
know, so it's like you just work and sleep basically.
Hmm.
But that at the very least is an avenue of not having to commit that much in the future, because you can save so much money doing that. So,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, even my fiance and I, so it's just like I just have to grit my teeth for a little while and just
Yeah.
and just
Hmm.
do this for a while in order to have nice things in the future, you know, or have it a little bit easier in the future. It's like you just kind of have to make that sacrifice, you know, because even when I'm back, it's like there's a lot of things I sort of want to do, where it's just like, you know, I want to see, you know, some friends, you know, I want to have time just to sit down and read, you know, I might want to watch, you know, a movie, I might want to work, you know, on my artwork, you know, or I
Hmm.
might want to get some exercise, you know, or I might just want to do nothing,
You might want to go on a
you know.
podcast.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So that wasn't a huge commitment though,
Yeah.
you know, but
Mhm.
it's but yeah, just and you do have to kind of force it a little bit sometimes, just because I like to think that, you know, I'm at least moving towards something instead of just kind of letting time just sort of glide by.
Yeah.
Because, you know, as you get older, it just goes by faster and faster.
That's what
Mhm.
You
I've
know, it's
noticed
hard
too.
for me to believe. It's hard for me to believe that I'm in my 30s now. You know, and I'm not going to get any younger. You know, so it's like sometimes even if I'm not like super in the mood for something, it's just like, well, I might as well just do it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll feel good about it later.
Mhm.
You know, as opposed to just, you know, sitting and, you know, staring at, you know, like a phone screen or
Yeah.
what have you.
Well,
Because I
yeah.
mean, man, you can just let life just sort of glide past you doing shit like that.
Even
Very
Sam
true.
Hyde said that some of you are saying it's like you can't wait to feel good to start doing shit. And I
Exactly,
love that.
exactly.
Like you really can't, man. You just gotta force yourself
Yeah,
to do it.
You
that's
really
true.
do.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
So with all the movie collection you got behind you, and you talked about your media collection, I know you're like, I could pretty much tell you're like big fan of like some Jack Nicholson stuff. You like Nick Nolte, you know, you're into Kurt Russell and stuff like that. And I'm also a big fan of like all those actors and stuff. And I'd say like, what is like, do you have any like top movies you'd recommend we should see that maybe we haven't seen?
Well, I'll name drop one. This is an early Jack Nicholson movie that I highly recommend. And this actually had some like this is I'm not I hesitate to do a like, wow, he's literally me moment. And then you have like the picture of like Travis Bickle or whatever. I'm just like, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna play that game. But it's like
Mhm.
there's a really wonderful early Jack Nicholson movie called Five Easy Pieces.
I think I've heard you talk about this one before
Um, that that
or seen you
that I
talk about it.
recommend. Um, and let's see, because even getting into like movies, that's such a broad
Yeah.
topic that it's like,
Mhm.
because you mentioned Jack Nicholson, I was like, oh, I could say like Five Easy Pieces. It's like I have like certain like, you know, genres, subgenres I'm into, like, you know, a particular time. It's like I'm really into spaghetti westerns and collect spaghetti westerns.
Hell
I've got
yeah.
an entire shelf dedicated to them up there,
Nice.
you know. So it's like, yeah, and I'll force my fiance to watch some of them with me, you know, because she's not super into it. And I'm just like, well, you have to see my top five
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
least, you know. I was like, she has to see the top five, you
For
know, at the very least.
for
So
those listening, like, could you explain like a spaghetti western, like what kind of era, like genre that movie is? Right, obviously it's like a western style cowboy movie, but
yeah, so basically spaghetti westerns were westerns that were made in Italy
okay.
in the 1960s and 70s. So the Italian film industry, at least, you know, at that time, basically the trend was that if a movie became popular and it was of a specific genre, they would just make dozens of sort of imitations of it.
Yeah.
or
Mhm.
they'd take something that was popular in the United States and then kind of copy it. Now, so the famous spaghetti westerns were the ones that a filmmaker named Sergio Leone did with Clint Eastwood, which would be Fistful of Dollars for a few dollars
Oh
more
yeah,
and The
yeah.
Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Yeah, Dad
I
loves
like
Which a
those.
lot of
those are
people
good.
will associate them, but those are Italian movies.
Yeah.
Oh no
And
shit. Huh.
so, but there were hundreds and hundreds of spaghetti westerns made in Italy from approximately 1964 to about 1978,
Okay.
which is generally how long the genre had lasted. Um, and they would oftentimes they would get American actors in them. Like Clint Eastwood was only in those three, but Lee Van Cleef, who had been in two of those movies with Clint Eastwood, was in a bunch of them, and a lot of really good ones.
Yeah.
And they would have a lot of European actors, like German actors, Italian actors, even some actors from like South America. And what I really love about those movies is they were trying so hard to kind of have this American aesthetic or just attitude about them, but they were so distinctly European at the same time.
Yeah.
It's like the music especially had this really distinct kind of European flavor to it. But it was kind of trying to imitate Americanism with like, whistling and just really, really, really neat. And they were a lot edgier than the American westerns being made, generally speaking. They were often, there was kind of they were morally gray often.
Yeah.
And they were just a lot of fun. They had a lot of action. Like they would use often European circus performers to like bound off of balconies and whatnot.
Oh
So they
yeah.
were very theatrical in that way, and just really cool. So the gold standard of that genre for a lot of people is going to be The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and
Oh
it
yeah.
really is like the gold
It's a
standard.
great
But
movie.
Mm-hmm.
I would say I'll name my top five that were not made by Sergio Leone, who is kind of seen as like like the or the forefront or the foremost like director in that medium. I would say my top five would be The Big Gun Down with Lee Van Cleef, Face to Face by that same filmmaker, Banditos, which is really underrated, Manaha, A Man Called Blade, which is one of the later ones that was made, and Death Rides a Horse, also with Lee Van Cleef.
Okay.
So I would say those are my top five non Sergio Leone spaghetti westerns. My personal choices. Um, and yeah, as far as like I'm really into. I'm looking like yeah, I have a lot of weird stuff there. I can go grab a few and show you some of the really weird stuff.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
One thing I will say is my have you ever seen the movie Soldier with Kurt Russell?
Yes.
A
That's
good
like my
one.
dad and I's like for whatever reason, like we have a lot of memories watching that growing up, and it's like my dad and I's like favorite Kurt Russell movie for some fucking reason.
Kurt
It's a good
Russell was
movie.
in some good movies that didn't really get a lot of traction, like Breakdown
Dude, Breakdown.
is a good
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm trying to think like I'm trying to think of like non John Carpenter Kurt Russell movies
Yeah.
that are underrated. Like Breakdown is the first one that comes to mind. There's a movie that's okay. It's a little bit like they call it a Dark Blue
I don't
that
think
he
I've seen
did,
that one.
where it's like a corrupt police officer.
Okay.
Um,
Dark Blue.
yeah, he's like a corrupt. Yeah, I know. So, so I was like, let me think. So I'm gonna try to go grab a couple of
Yeah, go pick
the
some
odd
out.
ones I can talk about or underrated ones. I'll be right back.
Hell yeah, do
All
it,
right,
do it.
tight. Sounds good. Sounds like a plan. Real quick, while he's gone, we can throw up. We're gonna be playing The Forest 2 when it comes out, so get excited for that, ladies and gentlemen. Have a little let's play of that.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be
Need
doing a potentially. You didn't hear
yeah.
this here. We might be
Oh,
live.
potential.
We might be
Oh, might
live
be
stream.
live stream.
We
Yeah.
might be live streaming on YouTube and Twitch, doing the Forest 2 Let's Play / like playthrough, and then we'll for sure have like cut edited videos go up on YouTube of the playthrough and the game, and it will be
Right,
it'll be a
sick.
good time.
I wasn't jumping the gun there too fast, was I, Paul? Letting him know that? Is that
Oh
cool?
no, it's
All right,
coming
right
up. That
on.
game's
Sick.
coming
All right,
out
fuck yeah.
into
Yeah.
next month.
Okay.
So we'll be ready for that. So yeah,
Yeah, I
be
can't
on the
wait.
lookout. Be on the lookout for that.
I get spooked. Play some
Dude, the
games.
first Forest game fucking made me shit my pants. Like this one's gonna be. I mean, at least there's like ARs and shit now. I'm gonna be gunning some
Yeah.
motherfuckers down. Looks like you'd have
Yeah, it looks like
companions. Like
it'd be a little easier, not so grindy. I thought the forest personally was very grindy, a little bit too much for my taste. And Unforgiven. Holy fuck, is that game brutal? I did get to play with you and Howler, so it wasn't too bad, but I did do a solo playthrough
that.
myself, and I'm bad at that
That
game,
game,
man.
that game to me is better solo, and also it's not as grindy if you just straight up do the quest. Like if you just
Okay.
like settle, you don't even need to have a crazy home base. If you just have like
Yeah.
a fucking tent, a place to drink water, and an ample food source. The problem with me is in any game where you can build shit, I go crazy. I start
Yeah,
building
dude.
like
Yeah.
I start building like colonies and
Mhm.
shit, and like
It also doesn't help that I'm terrified when I play it solo, because I don't want these fucking monsters coming after me. So I can't wait to play the Forest 2. It's gonna be a lot of screaming, gonna be a lot of us fucking, getting murdered and shit. But yeah,
be a good
I think
time.
it'll
Yeah,
be cool.
so Jack and I plan on playing that through, and who knows? Maybe we'll have a special guest. There might be one of our buddies plays it. Maybe he'll
Joins us with it. Yeah.
he'll be on one of the videos or the live streams. But you ready to show us some films, Jake?
I'm ready.
All right.
So I'll just jump right out here. The title will grab you. Frankenhooker
What the fuck?
from
What the
1990.
Okay.
So this was made by a filmmaker, a New York filmmaker named Frank Henenlotter, who made a handful of exploitation movies. The most famous is one called Basket Case.
Okay.
This is my favorite of the ones that he did. It's actually really funny, and actually really well made.
Okay.
What genre
So
did
I
you
would
call that? Exploitation? Is that what you said?
exploitation, yeah, because I mean that's what it is.
Okay.
It is meant to exploit,
Okay.
really. And there's a character, there's a pimp in the movie called Zorro, who,
Okay.
who carves Z's into his women. That's how he marks them.
Oh
God.
God.
Zorro.
So, and next, this is a movie from 1985, I believe, called Flesh and Blood.
Okay.
So this was made by filmmaker Paul Verhoeven, who made RoboCop and Starship Troopers and
Okay.
Basic Instinct and everything. But he's a Dutch filmmaker, and this was his first English language movie. It's a really grimy depiction of Europe in the Dark Ages, and just how brutal and just ugly, and it's really really cool. It's a lot of fun. It's just it's not a movie to watch with mom and dad.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Definitely.
Alright.
Unlike Frankenhooker, which very much is.
Okay.
So, right. And next I chose, this is a Japanese movie from the 1960s called Blind Beast.
Okay.
So this is a by a filmmaker named Yasuzo Masamura, who I collect a lot of his movies. It's about a blind sculptor who is basically looking for like the perfect model, and he kidnaps this woman who ends up masochistically falling in love with him.
Oh damn.
And it's actually a very thoughtful kind of movie. And like a lot of Masamura's movies, it's got really kind of elegant color photography, from that period when they did sort of like Technicolor-esque
Mhm.
kind of look, and it's definitely recommended.
Hell yeah.
And finally, from Australia, movie from the 90s, Bad Boy Bubby.
Okay.
Now, I can make a really odd connection with this. Do you remember the Scooby-Doo movie, the first one,
The
with
live action?
Matthew Lillard or
Yeah.
whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
so you remember the opening scene where it's like the ghosts that they unmask,
Yeah. And
or
the
like the guy?
yeah.
Mhm.
Is he the dude
Yeah,
jumping off the fucking?
yeah. So the actor who's unmasked at the beginning is like the ghost or whatever,
Yeah.
is this actor.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And it's
I
the
kinda
o-
oh,
and
okay.
it's the only other movie that he did besides this.
Oh
Huh.
shit.
I was gonna say, he
But
looks
this
like
is a
kinda like Sling Blade. It looks like, what's that guy's name? Remind me his name again.
Oh, Billy Bob Thornton. Well,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
movie is actually Sling Blade-ish a little bit. It's about a guy that was basically been locked away by his insane mother for the first
Oh God.
35 years of his life. That's the only world that he knows.
Jesus.
And he's basically like a child mentally because of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And finally he escapes and he's let loose in Australia for the first time as an adult. Like basically is like a child and does
God
all these
damn.
crazy things where like or yeah, like if he's mad at someone when they're asleep, he'll like wrap their head in like plastic wrap and asphyxiate them.
Oh my God.
And it's so it's but it's actually a really thoughtful movie. And Nicholas Hope, who plays the title character and was also in Scooby Doo, gives a performance that's so good that it's regrettable that the only other movie he was in was Scooby Doo. So
Man. Okay.
it's so those are just kind of four just sort of random choices that if anybody's looking for kind of is tired of
The modern day
Marvel
bullshit.
or
Yeah.
whatever. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
these might be fun to check out. So
Hell yeah, dude. Thanks for the recommendations. That's great. I actually wrote down like all of them here. I
Yeah,
plan
we
on
have them
hopefully
there.
looking into them. And
We'll definitely
yeah.
bootleg those sometime.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's funny. The last 2 years I've been slowly just watching older movies because I kind of just like I'm sick of like anything really new that comes out. Don't get me wrong, every once in a
Mhm.
while I'd say there's like one movie a year that like I'll go see and I'll be like, damn, like that was actually good. Like the last one I could think of that I went and saw in theaters I really liked was, have you ever seen Everything Everywhere All at Once?
No, no.
Okay. I recommend
Good
that
film.
movie. The only connection I can make in that is well, I guess there's a couple big actors in it, but one of them is like one of the main actors in it is Short Round from Indiana Jones Grown Up.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
kid.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, I can't even fucking explain that movie to you. Like it's basically like a multiverse movie in a way. It's not
Hmm.
like no Inception bullshit or like Christopher Nolan, like the past is the future, future is the past, but it's a
Mhm.
very like interesting like take on like a multiverse style movie. Have you seen it yet, Jackson?
Oh yeah, I love that. It's a good film.
Yeah, yeah. I'd say like that's the last movie I liked I saw in theaters, but I've been slowly going through and watching old movies. I mean, like just literally last year I saw Unforgiven for the first time, and I'm like, Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, why did I like not watch this? And the reason why is like my dad loves Clint Eastwood, especially like growing up, like
Hmm.
Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. He always had westerns on, and so like I've been
Yeah.
visiting a lot of like old Eastwood stuff. Um, but no, I plan on watching as many old movies as I can. But
Uh, the one Clint Eastwood movie I'd really recommend is one he did called Thunderbolt and Lightfoot,
oh, I think I've heard of that.
and it's got Jeff Bridges in it when he was really young. That
Okay.
that that that's a really wonderful movie. It's because I'll just without spoiling anything, I'll say on one hand it's a really kind of light and funny buddy movie, but it's
Yeah.
also at the same time a sad poem about a change in America,
Okay.
and is it's really good.
Okay. Yeah, I think I've honestly I can like a picture the cover of it because I think I've seen
Yeah.
like the cover of it
Yeah,
before.
I'm positive our dad watched that before with us. And I've
Yeah.
seen
Like he
that. It
has.
looks familiar.
Another one I recommend is just because it's so wonderfully politically incorrect to watch it now. It's called the Eiger Sanction.
How do you fucking
Um,
Iger? How do you
it's
spell that?
the Eiger.
Oh, okay. Like how it's okay.
It's
Iger
like a
section.
mountain climbing spy movie,
Okay.
but just the script is so funny for it.
It's like
So
the last fucking mountain climbing movie I think I watched was Cliffhanger.
oh, Cliffhanger,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a fun movie.
I met
Yeah,
I met Michael Rooker,
Yeah. It's cool.
the guy that his like friend in it or whatever, and he's
yeah,
also like in the fucking Walking Dead. He was a pretty
yeah,
interesting
yeah,
guy. He actually like his voice literally just fucking sounds like that. I didn't think it'd be really as raspy as it is in real life, but it is. He's super nice. He always plays kind of like a arrogant dickhead in most
yeah.
stuff or like a bad
Yeah.
guy, but no, he was actually pretty down to earth, cool guy. Um yeah, Cliffhanger.
Well,
I've been watching the Rocky movies too slowly again. I like those old boxing
Well, have you
movies, 80s
seen
movies.
Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer?
I have not.
That's the Michael Rooker movie to see. That
Zero
is
Killer?
the
Okay.
Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer.
Oh, okay.
That was Michael Rooker's first movie, and that is the Michael Rooker movie to see, 100%.
Okay. Yeah, I'll look into that one.
But it's hard candy though. It's definitely hard candy. It's not like your typical like serial killer movie where it's just like exploitative or just being like, oh, this is like fun for the audience. It's like no,
Mhm.
it's the real thing, 100%. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
What's the newest movie you've seen that you really liked? Is there anything in the last couple of years that you're like really liked, or because I know it's hard to say now because
Um,
like a lot of the new movies kind of suck shit, but
I I never really go to the theater. One that I saw came out like 4 or 5 years ago. I didn't see it in the theater. I saw it afterwards. It was a movie called Under the Silver Lake
okay.
Don't think I've
with
seen that
Andrew
one.
Garfield that I
Oh,
really liked. That was surprisingly great, actually.
okay.
And it seems like it blacklisted the filmmaker
Really?
because it's like they really tried to bury that movie. It was the same guy that made It Follows,
Oh, I think I've
which
Okay.
was
heard of
really
that.
popular for a while, but
Hmm.
he made this movie a couple years afterwards, and it's sort of gotten like a cult following, but it's like the studio that released it really tried to kind of bury it. It seems like so,
Huh.
Huh. Well, I'll have to
but
fucking find that one.
that I liked.
Oh, it's an A24 film. Okay,
I
that
was
makes
just
Yeah,
about to ask, what do you
yeah.
think of the A24 studio like doing these like cheaper budget? Because Everything Everywhere All at Once isn't that A24, Jack? Or is it not? Maybe I'm wrong.
I really
Maybe
don't
it's
think it
not.
is,
But
dude.
like, what do you think of the A24 stuff so
well,
far?
first it seemed like it was really nice. It sort of seems like it's gotten to a point where I think someone said there's only a handful of genres of movies now. There's like superheroes, remakes, and A24.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
You're not wrong.
Oh, it is
it's
A24.
it's nice that there's movies which I guess are more mid-budget movies or movies that aren't just made for China or just for like a mass market appeal, which can get made. But it that's one odd thing that happens now is you see there are like these little production companies that just completely corner the market on one kind of movie
Yeah.
instead of there being multiple companies basically being able to where you can really have like a healthy market for that sort of thing, where it's like how Blumhouse basically took over anything that was horror,
Yeah.
where it's just like if there's any kind of horror movie being released, it's like it's Blumhouse. So
Yeah.
I'm wary of kind of like how things get monopolized like that. So with A24, it does make me a little bit wary, where it's just like, oh, it suddenly deserves like some kind of recognition just because this particular studio or distributor put it out.
Yeah.
I don't even know what they really are. I don't know if they're just a distributor or if they're financing the movies, if they're like a studio. I really don't know. So
Yeah, from what I've realized, what I've noticed, they're very like low to mid budget like movies. Hold on, I'm trying to think of or find the director or producer's name. Have you ever seen any S. Craig Zoller movies? Like, have you seen like Brawl on Cell Block
yeah,
99, like Dragged Across Concrete? What was the other one he
yeah.
made that I really liked?
He made Bone Tomahawk.
Yeah, yeah, that one had Kurt
Was it?
Russell. Yeah, that movie
Yeah,
was fucking brutal, dude.
I saw Bone Tomahawk and the Cell Block movie, and I thought they were both good. I think like they're a little bit one thing that sucks about a lot of modern movies is they lack a certain like tactility often. They're,
Yeah,
they're they're too reliant on kind of like oh, effects are digitized or
yeah,
just even digital photography. It sort of lacks like a real flair.
yeah,
Because if you look at like old Technicolor movies, you're just floored by just how gorgeous they are.
yeah, yeah,
I'm just like, well, that's film and that's Technicolor. It's just like in that a lot that's been lost now. Or it's just something digital can look fine, but it's not special the way
yeah,
that was. Or even with something like being tactile, where it's just like, you know, if they're using like firearms in the movie, it's like they're using like squibs or blanks. Now we don't want to have a another Alec Baldwin situation, obviously, but it's you know, but that's just negligence. I mean, that's just some form of negligence there. It's like that
Yeah,
sort of thing should never. That's just someone who's grossly unqualified, or from what I had heard, someone just grossly unqualified for what they were doing. And just, of course, that's what you get when you have these nepotistic hiring practices, or just hiring someone because they're on the basis that they're a woman. It's like, well, this is the kind of shit that happens when
This is what happens.
when you have incompetent people, doing stuff like this. So it's you know, but yeah, not to digress too much. I do like that kind of tactility, and I felt that Cell Block was lacking a little bit of that. It's just like, when a gun is being fired, it's just the digital, muzzle flash or whatever. There's no
yeah,
real recoil. It's like takes me out of it a little bit. But
yeah.
yeah, I respect that he's at least writing, because I think this
I
person is fundamentally a writer
yeah, yeah.
more than anything else. That he's writing material which is at least, has some personality and some edge to it, as opposed to, just commercial crap.
And it's
So
different. Yeah, that's why I've really liked his stuff, is because it's different. Like, yeah, it doesn't really have that true character, but like, yeah, the writing of it's very good. It's just because it's like unlike something you've really like I've ever seen. Like, have you seen Dragged Across Concrete?
I have not, no.
Okay, that movie is by far, like, I think one of the slowest movies I have ever seen. But dude, like, he did that one too, and that one's Vince Vaughn and Mel Gibson, and
Yeah.
basically they're both cops, and like Mel Gibson's like this older cop that he basically could retire, I think, but he lives in like this shitty apartment. I think his kids got some type of issue and they have like no money, like they're pretty much broke. And so him and this younger, newer cop, Vince Vaughn, decide to like fucking uh rip off bank heist guys that they've been
Oh.
following and knew who they could catch. And it's very interesting. It's super slow, but the way it ends, did like not fucking see. I mean, like, that's what I kind of feel like with most of that dude's couple movies. Like, the way it ends, I did like not see it going that way.
Hmm.
And that's like kind of how Dragged Across Concrete is. I think it's his longest movie. Um, but I definitely think you should watch it, because like that same chick that's in Brawl and Cell Block, the wife, the girl that plays like Dexter's sister in the Dexter TV show, she's
Yeah.
in it too. Forget her name.
Jennifer Carpenter.
Yeah, yeah, and I like her,
I
whatever
think
she's
that's her
in.
name.
But I think you should. I think you'd really like that one. As far as those three, I think those are really the only three big ones he was a part of that he was like either top dog on, or like producer or writer on, and I
Yeah.
really liked them. So I think you should watch those, or watch that one.
If you want to if you want to see a really good cop movie that sounds kind of similar, it's a movie from the 80s called To Live and Die in LA.
I think I've heard of that, dude. Yeah.
I would highly recommend that.
Okay.
Man, I got movies fucking lined up for the next like 2 months, dude. And I'm just like, I'm gonna watch all these. You
Yeah,
know,
what we'll do is we'll watch. Jack and I will try to watch a majority of these, and then you'll come back on and we can talk about them.
we'll talk about
Oh,
yeah.
that'd be great. Yeah.
Hell
I
yeah,
I'd
Right,
really
sick.
enjoy that.
yeah, dude. Um,
Yeah.
well, let's see here. We're at about an hour and 40 minutes nearly. Jack, is there any topics you maybe wanted to bring up before the end of the show here, or call it a show here pretty soon? Anything you maybe were pressing to ask Jake that maybe we missed?
No, honestly, I'm good for today's show. Yeah, nothing else for you.
We can talk about how this week Jack and I were reminiscing over the Three Fugitives theme song. Because
Oh yeah.
we used to hear that growing up and we were listening to it. We're like,
Oh
damn,
yeah,
that fucking theme, the saxophone goes hard.
dude, that's really good. It's
But
a good film.
but anyways, Jake, thank you for coming on, man. This was super fun. It was great to talk about like Sam Hyde, and just like talk about like, your travels, and then also just like dipping into movies there at the end.
Mhm.
Is there anything you wanted to say, or before we cut off the show here?
No, I certainly really appreciate the opportunity to come on and, just try to, you know, just go with the flow of things.
Yeah,
I
shoot
had a
the
lot of
shit.
fun,
Hell yeah.
and would
Wonderful.
love to come back on. I'm glad to see, because I haven't really spoken with you in so long.
I know,
You
man.
know, nice to see that you're doing well, and Jack, it was nice to meet you.
Likewise.
So
Hell yeah, man.
yeah,
Well,
Great.
anyways, everybody, that is a show here. Thank you again, Jake, for coming on, and that was Gutterball 30.
my pleasure.
Whoa!